What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk about The Mandalorian Season 3 season finale. That's right, I have a kick-ass theory that I want to share with you today as we discuss what is going to happen in this last episode of Season 3. So let's get right into it with any of the hints that we have as to what's coming in this episode. And unfortunately, we have very few hints other than the ones that were given to us in Chapter 23. We know that Din Djarin has been captured by Moff Gideon and his Imperials, and we know that Moff Gideon is moving to attack the fleet in orbit. And certainly Gideon felt very confident that he was going to be able to destroy that Mandalorian fleet. But here's the thing that a lot of people, I believe, are forgetting about when it comes to Chapter 23, and that is when the Mandalorians first come under attack by the Imperials, Axe Woves actually escapes and goes for reinforcements. But here's something else you may not have thought about. Remember Boca Tan's scouting party of Mandalorians? They only brought one ship down to the surface. Remember also that it's impossible to send any sort of signal through the atmosphere of Mandalore, so there's a real possibility that Axe Woves isn't going to be able to call down reinforcements or communicate with the fleet whatsoever. Not unless the Armorer has returned the gauntlet back to the surface of Mandalore, which very well might not have happened. But here's the thing, I don't subscribe to the theory that the Armorer is the spy. She is 100% the spiritual leader of the Mandalorians. We have seen her and Paz Vizsla rebuild the Mandalorian tribe, so it makes absolutely no sense that she would be working alongside Moff Gideon. So I believe she will return to the surface with the Gauntlet Boca Tan ship, therefore meeting up with Axe Woves and once again traveling back to the fleet, asking them to send down reinforcements. But unfortunately, when the Armorer returns to the fleet, most of it will either be destroyed or have jumped out of the system, trying to escape the onslaught of the TIE interceptors and TIE bombers. And so Axe Woves and our spiritual leader, the Armorer, will return to the surface of Mandalore, sharing the fate of the fleet with Boca Tan and her scouting party. And at this point, of course, it will seem like all is lost and that Moff Gideon has won. And of course, there are many different kick-ass theories about who could show up to help the Mandalorians in this moment. I mean, how great would it be to see Temuera Morrison show up and help out the Mandalorians? But in this scenario, I don't think Boba Fett has the power level to help the Mandalorians overcome Moff Gideon. So then if we think of some other more powerful characters in the universe at this time, such as Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren coming to help out their friend Boca Tan, I could definitely see their power level being enough when it comes to overcoming Moff Gideon and his Imperial remnant. And how awesome of a setup would that be? Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren brought into the story right in the finale, which would flow perfectly into the Ahsoka series coming up this August. We also know that Ahsoka and Sabine would be able to contact Zeb Orrelios, who of course we saw earlier in the season as part of the New Republic Rangers, and therefore they could ask for their help with attacking Moff Gideon on Mandalore. I really like that idea because it gives us a reason as to why we saw Zeb Orrelios in that earlier chapter. It would make it so that it wasn't just a fun cameo, but actually an important part of the plot in Season 3. But as much as I'd love to see that, I don't think that is the correct kick-ass theory. I think something else is going to happen at the end of this season, and no, it's not the return of Luke Skywalker. You see, one of the craziest moments in this Season 3 is when Boca Tan rescues Din Djarin from the living waters of Mandalore, and she sees the enormous mythosaur. So when Boca Tan and the Armorer reunite and it seems like all is lost, their fleet has been destroyed, Din Djarin has been captured, and they only have a small scouting party remaining, it's going to be time for some desperate measures. And I believe the Armorer is going to remind Boca Tan of the mythosaur and encourage her to travel back to the living waters of Mandalore so that she can track down that mythosaur and, like her ancient ancestors, tame that beast so that it can be ridden into battle battle versus Moff Gideon. And once and for all, this would dispel any doubt that Boca Tan is indeed the leader of Mandalore, and the attack of Boca Tan in her mythosaur would absolutely annihilate Moff Gideon and his forces on Mandalore. That, my friends, is my kick-ass theory for the finale of The Mandalorian Season 3. But hey, Star Wars fans, remember this is just my crazy speculation. Let me know your theories and speculation in the comments below. And as always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you always.